What is going on, everybody? It is Monday, which means that it is Motovlogger Monday, and I thank you all for being here. Whether you're watching us live or you're watching the replay, pretty much we cover everything motorcycles and motovlogging related, anything we can do to help each other out, tips and tricks. So if you're into that type of thing, don't forget to hit subscribe down below. We do have guests on this show weekly, and today I'm extremely excited to have this guest on. He's somebody who is definitely active in the motovlogging community, and that's what today's focus is going to be, is those up and coming channels, those growing channels. And I don't necessarily call them small channels, but growing channels are so important, and some tips and tricks we can learn along the way. So please, let's go ahead and bring him in right now. We're going to bring in Setzerpendence to the show. Setzer, what is going on, buddy?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Good, good. Thank you for being here. And
hey, so it looks like before we get started, it looks like we got two people. Let's go ahead and cut this stream now, and I'll get you a check for $2.
$2. $2. So actually, now that you just brought that up, let's talk about this a little bit. So Setzerpendence has pretty much made it publicly known, which is binding, by the way, made it publicly known that for all concurrent viewers that we have on this live stream tonight, whatever that top number is going to be, he is going to donate $1. And I guess we should get some clarification. Is that going to be for the Armed Services YMCA?
Yeah, the same thing that you donated to.
Perfect. So that's awesome. So text your friends, your buddies, everybody that you know. Let's try to get him to spend a lot of money. His best comment was his crawfish comment, which allowed him to back out of the deal, but we'll see where we're at. And we're going to be checking in with the side chat here, so make sure you guys are communicating with each other. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about a couple elephants in the room and go from there. So first off, while we're getting this started, let us know where you guys are watching from today. City, state, country. It's all good. Don't forget, you can subscribe to Setzerpendence and also follow him on Instagram. So before we get into the elephants, I really want to start this thing off and just ask you, like, who is Setzerpendence? Like, let's kind of backtrack it on how the name came about and who you are and kind of your background, and then we'll kind of get into your journey into this this crazy YouTube life.
Sure, man. So Setzerpendence, that's my last name, Setzer, and you know, our whole family. We all ride, you know. So my brother Jonas, I'm Jason. Both of our sons, they're 3 months apart. They're both 20, and they both ride. You know, we all have baggers, and you know, our dad rode, and you know, he didn't get to. You know, he died in 2006, but
sorry. Yeah.
So I mean, last year during Independence Day, we did a run. We did a 6-day run. We went up to the furthest we went to was somewhere around Missouri, and then we came back down in through Arkansas. Of course, we hit Oklahoma on the way up there. We went right in the Ozarks, whatever. And then so like during that whole time frame, I was like, you know, this is kind of like what independence means to us, you know. So, you know, Setzerpendence, right? So it started off as the Setzerpendence ride. You know, because I kind of wanted to, I'm kind of busy on Instagram. So I wanted a way to track all the stuff on Instagram, just Setzerpendence Ride 2020. And then, you know, I started kind of getting into more watching people on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I might like to brand that, you know? So, you know, we just kind of went with Setzerpendence. And my brother he's like, he doesn't want anything to do with it. He just wants to ride. And I'm like, that's cool, man, you know. But, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him over here to the dark side. He's gonna be my co-host on something here for long. so
that name was created then before your thought of a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, you know, it's different. Setzer's pretty different, and it's ironic because anybody that's usually calling us, you know, like, hey, Mr. Whatever, they always screw it up. You know, Seltzer, Smets, or whatever. But in this community here, most everybody's nailed it. So it's pretty like,
well, low key I'm myself out right now because I'm pretty sure I botched that up the first time I ever said it live. So it took me a second. So I apologize for that. But
no, man, I didn't hear you botch it up. So you just ratted yourself out.
It happens. It happens. So very cool. So tell me what got you into, going into this YouTube life. Like, what is it? Was there a key moment where there was like an aha moment in going in YouTube?
Not really. I had, I got my first motorcycle when I was 4, and I've pretty much been riding ever since. And, I don't know, man, we just, we've been riding a lot. And, I was like, my dad never took a lot of pictures, and like when we buried him, it was tough because it was like we had to call like extended family, and they're like, hey, do you got a picture of my dad? There was like 6 pictures at his funeral, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just start making some videos and then just start, putting them up on his channel. I'm gonna make this channel and just kind of see what happens. I didn't really have a goal. I didn't have nothing. I was just like, I'm going to limp into this and just kind of like document, for my kids' sake, what's going on. And then it's kind of just been growing into, hi, you know what? I kind of like making these videos. It's pretty neat. It's like, oh, I like this. I like that. Why does this do that? I'm a real nerd when it comes to stuff like how things work, like I'm like, okay, so, it started off when, whenever I went out on my own long time ago, and I had to become my own IT department. I was like, I got to figure out how all this works, so that's kind of trained me into all this stuff, and like whenever I put my first video up, I was like, people might not like the content, but I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it looks pretty.
Right.
So I was, that's just kind of that's how it started. And then now that it's started, now that, this whole thing is kind of, growing and doing something. And I'm like, I would kind of like to do this. I definitely love riding. You kind of look around on YouTube and people are giving you, advice on how to grow your channel and all that stuff, which I'm not, I'm going to go that route, but I've got a few smaller goals at first before I'm worried about growing my channel or anything like that. And so one of those things was, when they were telling you how to do this, they're like, what is your channel about? And then so like, I was like, oh, well, that's a good point. I mean, is it just like a family diary or what's going on? So then I was like, well, is it motovlogging or is it, what do I want this to be? And then so like after a little while of thinking, I was like, what I would really like? I would like people to look at my videos, our videos, and say, that looks cool. I want to do that. I want to go riding. I want to go to another state and see what I can see, so, I like riding, and it's difficult for me to watch vloggers like just ride, there's got to be story. There's got to be backstory, there's got to be something going on. You know what I mean? So then now that's triggered something to me to like, okay, now I got to be some kind of storyteller, more like not like a fake story, but just like a, describer of events,
Sure.
I guess you could call it a storyteller. But so this whole thing is just kind of like growing, doing its own thing. It's kind of neat. So,
well, and that's the whole thing. I mean, you make a very good point. And as far as, you have to tell that story. And I can tell you from, what I like about everybody can be a little bit different, right? And all you have to do is change the game just a little bit. So for me, like I knew that I wanted to do these videos, but I also know that I want to create some type of cinematic adventure along the way, right? Because looking at other YouTube videos, I wasn't seeing that angle. So as long as, attacking an angle can be so small, and everybody needs to know that an angle can just be even your personality. But you hit the nail on the head by saying being that storyteller, having that beginning, that middle, that end is how you're going to keep people engaged. And we'll get into more like tips and tricks and things like that along the way as we go about, and hopefully can help others that are either just starting out. And there's nothing wrong with being a new YouTube channel in 2021. I promise you now, because the numbers are up. People are watching YouTube now more than ever. I think the numbers are up like 73%. So now is a very, very good time. So, and I call them growing channels. I don't call them new channels, or low subscriber channels, whatever you want to call them. The whole thing of getting, telling those stories, how you want to do it, as long as it's enjoyable. At least my perspective has always been, if it's enjoyable, I'm going to keep doing it. As soon as it's not enjoyable, then, I'm kind of out. So, that's just it's just having that small little twist that if you can just put any type of small twist, and like I said, it could be so minor, it could be just your personality, but if it's going to be your personality, you got to show it. You got to show it, right? You got to be able to be on camera. So but let's check in right now.
I think we're good now. We can cut this stream. We got 10 people.
No, we are currently 20. So we're 20. That's $20 already. So
all right.
saying hello to everybody. We got Salty and Sprinkles that's in the house. Robin, the lady biker. Hello. How are you? Let's see. We have the Beard from Baggers and Brews. Always engaging, always, I swear he must not sleep. He's in just about every live stream out there.
You got a clone.
Let's see here. We've got we got my good influence friend Boosted Bagger is in the house. He's joining us. We'll probably talk a little bit about the Saddle Sore 1000. Of course, gotta say hello. It's the wife. She is here. Boosted Bagger says he's watching from his couch. Robin is up in Santa Barbara. That's awesome. Just rode through there during the Saddle Sore. We didn't get a chance to stop, but Isle Vista, IVBC, Isle Vista Brewing Company. I remember that from back in the day. The wife says she's watching from my living room. Okay. Glad you could be here. Aya Hog Rider. Hey all, how you doing? Thank you for coming by.
Hog Rider.
That's right.
That was a joke we had on another live stream. I was like, every time I see his name, that dude's name, I always hear that Clash of Clans.
Oh yeah.
Hog Rider. That's what I always hear when I see it.
So F Caputo, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for coming by on the live stream. We have the Anonymous Biker USA. What's up? Thank you for joining us. Bells is in the house. Hello. How are you? And of course, the one that started it all 1 week ago today in the shenanigans that took place, Miss Whit Meza is here. Thank you for coming by and checking this out. Loved your stream last night, by the way. That was awesome. Let's see.
So this is your IBA anniversary, your 1 week anniversary.
Yeah.
Anniversary.
I need my trophy and my champagne. So yeah, I mean, that's we'll check back in the side chat. Obviously, we're going to be going over a lot of different content today, a lot of different questions and topics, and see if we can't answer what we can, maybe even together for you and me, and just kind of creating. I call it art because I have no artistic ability whatsoever, and the enjoyment of, the editing process, right? And how you create a motovlog, because it is difficult to throw yourself out there. That's pretty much what you're doing when you are, when you're doing these videos, you're leaving yourself a little vulnerable. I mean, we'll get into the hater stuff and the, things that you'll see along the way and in the journey, but you're throwing yourself out there, which is a big step. And the one thing that I will tell you, in you specifically, is not only are you engaged and you're involved in the community, which is like one of those rule number one things, right? If you want people to maybe be interested in you, then you need to be kind of interested in them and kind of show yourself. And you're always out there. That's why I was so excited to have you on the show and just kind of learning together on how you grow. So talking with, let me see, we're right here. So let's talk about running a new and growing YouTube channel. What are some of your headaches maybe that you've had? How did you overcome them? And what is it that you are suggesting for people that are making motovlogging content?
Well, for me, my biggest thing was hitting record, right? So just starting and putting that first video out there. I probably made 10 videos before I actually published the first one, and I wasn't happy with it. And I was on my way somewhere, and I was like, it's now I just published. I got to go, So the first thing for me was just getting the first one up, and then And I'm still, man, I'm still kind of like, I really don't. This is so odd to me because I don't really care what people think about me. I've been called a lot of things by a lot of people, and it's whatever. But grabbing that camera and then walking around with it is just like the stigma that goes along with it. It's like, shedding that and getting over that. What I found more often than not, people want to be involved in your video more than they want to make fun of you for it, or whatever, So, there's that. There's just that whole social awkward weird thing about filming yourself and filming yourself in public, and then my brother, I can't wait. I've got several clips of my brother because he's one of those, like, he's actually flinched when I've turned the camera to look at him on a couple of our rides, and he's like, I'm like, it's not going to get you, dude. You're okay, relax, So I'm going to put a montage of that together, but yeah, that whole social awkward weird, filming yourself thing. You kind of got to get past that. There's like I was saying, earlier, I'm a real nerd when it comes to understanding how things work. So like where I'm at right now with YouTube is like, if I click something, I want to know what the domino effect is everywhere. I want to know everything there is to know by changing the setting. And there's like not really a place to go to find that. I've kind of started messing around with the YouTube Creator Academy just so that I can kind of see, a lot of the YouTuber guys, they suggested that that's a good place to start, and I'm not far into it, but, I am curious. I just want to know what everything does, because, the eternal debate, like Android or iPhone, right? I have an Android. And if you don't, you're wrong. And, the whole platform works differently for different things, so like I clicked somebody's bell and then I was like getting notifications for everybody, so I'm just like, that's kind of a headache for me because I'm like, I don't know what's glitchy and I don't know what's by design,
Yeah, no, for sure. And and that's what it comes down to. Bell's just was saying editing is a love-hate thing, and it's true. It can drive you to drinking pretty much at some point. And kind of learning, and especially when you're starting out, and things that I always found, I would say, difficult is you're now trying to learn on multiple levels, right? You need to learn this YouTube algorithm thing. You need to learn your editing software thing. You need to come up with new and interesting ideas thing. And if you're not careful, I mean, it can consume your entire day, whereas, you're going to be like somebody from Office Space and you're going to be coming into work about 15 minutes late and you're going to use the side door so Lumberg doesn't see you, right? So because you were up too late, just studying the game. And it's important. You have to be a student of the game always. You need to always be learning. You need to always push yourself forward and try to make each video better than the last, even just by a little tweak that maybe the general public is not going to necessarily see. Mm-hmm. You'll know that you just kind of upped your game a little bit, and each one goes faster and faster, as you know. And being on camera, it's almost like hearing your voice, right? If you were old enough to remember what the old answering machine service, right, where you had to record your answering machine, and it sucked when you had to call home to check your messages because the first thing you heard was your freaking voice. Or if you were the first one through the door and you hit play and it was you that left the message, you're like, oh God, turn that off. That is terrible. And I think everybody goes through that. And that's why I always tell like new vloggers and new motovloggers, and especially people that are maybe be uncomfortable. Some of the best things you can do is hold a camera in your hand, don't hit record, and talk to the camera, walk around a mall. Now, of course, probably my camera just did its thing. That's always going to happen one live stream or another, but give me a second and I'll fix it. You can still hear me okay though, right?
Yeah.
All right. And again, not sponsored by Nikon. But I mean, it's one of those things, and obviously before a pandemic, that is adjust this a little bit here. Before a pandemic, I would always say go to the mall, walk around, let people look at you, and It's a little too dark. Let people look at you. Let people see what you're doing and see what they are, what they're about, or kind of question you. But like you said, people are going to be more interested about who you are, and it's almost great advertising for your channel when you have people that are watching you work. So, I'm on board with that. I think everybody has those same struggles. Let's see here. So, one of the elephants in the room that we're going to discuss is, did you watch the Pan America release today?
No, I did not. Because like you were saying earlier, this can consume you, and I'm self-employed. I've got, a few employees, and I am behind. So I try to limit the distractions today. But, what I've seen so far, I've seen I've seen a lot of pictures of them, and, I've seen some guys already out riding them and stuff. So
it's interesting because the Pan America grew on me, to be honest with you. I've never ridden an adventure bike. The release today was good. Of course they had Jason Momoa. I'm a big fan when Harley Davidson and other big companies, they use real people for their ads, right? And when they use actors, it does lose me just a little bit. Sure. Because you can pay an actor $6 million and it's an actor. He's going to make you think he loves it, or he probably wasn't hired for, his speech. He's an actor. He's going to make you think that he loves it. But when they're real people that are not actors, that are actually riders, that does more for me. But it is posted. You can see it. Then, I liked it, to be honest with you. I'm almost to the point where it's like, hey, I'm in. I want one. So that's interesting. I did want to touch base on this. Boosted Bagger, he said you could have a great video of it. If your music is lame, then it kind of ruins it for me. That is also very true.
Music and audio.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. So audio is 60% of the viewing experience. So you got to make sure that you're up on both. So Boosted Bagger, that's a good call. You got to have to make sure the audio sounds clean. There's nothing worse than watching a motovlog with wind noise, in my opinion. It almost ruins it instantaneous for me. Or if somebody sounds like they're shouting into the microphone because they can't hear themselves talk. So,
your cell phone. Well, I can speak from an Android's point of view, but so like my phone shoots really good video, but it sounds like you're in a wind tunnel every time that you try to use any of the audio from your recording. You know what I mean? So like we stop at a gas station, instead of pulling out the rig, I'm just like, I'm going to put my phone and shoot a nice video and then, get this done and out the way. But then the audio is horrible always. But there's little things that you can buy, little accessories, little mics or whatever that you can use that just make it to where you can actually use your cell phone for footage, in my opinion,
No, absolutely. And right now, whether you have an Android, and we've discussed it on these live streams, whether you have an Android or an iPhone, you can get great footage. And I was even reminded of that during the saddle sore, where the wife was filming a little bit as we pulled away because I wanted some coming and going footage. And as I'm going through the edit, I was like, man, this actually turned out, it kind of flows with everything. It turned out a little bit better than I thought. And I'm like, of course, because the phones are awesome these days. And I would even put some of the newer phones there. Even a couple, mirrorless cameras that might be 5 years old, 3 years old, the phones are shooting better than those.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Hell yeah. You got 4K in your pocket. That's just about standard on all phones now. That's crazy. Yep. You got a little mini movie production in your pocket.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, but yeah, I wanted to definitely touch base on that music comment real quick because that was important. But back going to the Pan America, have you ever ridden an adventure bike?
Not an adventure bike. I grew up on dirt bikes. I know they're not the same thing, and I got into some enduros there for a little while, but actually like dual sport or adventure bikes, no. Yeah,
so they say don't knock it till you try it. I know I was kind of thinking in the beginning that they were out of their mind trying to get into that market, but I think they're doing it the right way. there's a lot of mixed opinions. Everybody's like, oh, they're late to the show. It's Harley. They need to stop trying to appease to that other market. But the bottom line is Harley was hurting because the generation coming up wants something different. And that's what Harley's trying to do, is answer that.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody for stepping out of their comfort zone. That's exactly what Harley's doing, right? So, I mean, you know, you got to do it. You got to try it. You know, the thing with the whole adventure bike market, in my opinion, who's, you know, I shouldn't even have an opinion. I'm so educated on the subject. But, you know, this is definitely seems like it's going to be a long play for Harley. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, it's going to be 3 or 4 years, I think, before they can get the reputation in that market, before people become like diehards outside of the brand now. You know what I mean? So like the people that are in the adventure bike world, you know, they already have all their bikes and, you know, what's working for them, and, you know, they got their tried and true. You know, Harley's got to get a little bit of, you know, bikes out in the dirt and some you know, reputation behind them in that market before I think it will be a bust or a failure, or a go or a bust. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and I think Harley does, I understand that they were taking some hits there for a little bit, but they are Harley Davidson, right? So I think their research and development, along with their marketing plan, I honestly think that this is going to turn out to be a W, looking at everything they put into it. There's been a lot of anticipation. The only thing I could see making this flop is if those machines started having problems right out of the gate, right on Jump Street, and then you're obviously going to have an issue. So then it makes me ask you, talking about motovlogging, are you going to do a motovlog on the Pan America? You can go down and visit a site or a dealership?
No, and that's not really my thing. As right now it is anyway. You know, I'm you know, there's probably going to be a couple things that I want to do as far as like reviews or whatnot, but like going down to the dealership. First of all, we've got 4 dealerships, 5 if you really want to count the one in South Austin, that are kind of local to where I'm at, and I don't have like the best, you know, relationship with them. I'm on the 4th one, you know, and things are starting off really good, you know, and it's the furthest one away, of course. But, you know, I get more frustrated when I walk in through there than I do, hey, let me film your bike and take some stuff on a test ride anyway. So I probably won't. A buddy of mine called me and he said that he had local where he's at, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, I won't say any names, but he said that he's on the list for getting to take a Pan America out whenever they get one in that area, you know, and I think is really smart, you know what I mean, because they're putting them into the hands of vloggers and people like that. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. I would definitely like to ride one, you know, but I'm really bad about giving things back, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I would be, you know, that's my whole thing is, you know, everybody's going to keep on saying that I shouldn't judge it unless I try it. And there's people that are in that adventure bike scene that absolutely love it. That's their main bike. Now, I don't know if I would have it for a main bike, but
yeah, no way.
I would definitely want it for, as someone said in Robin the Lady Biker, looking for an adventure bike for my 3rd bike. Not a bad option to have, in my opinion. So that's pretty smart. What
about you? You going to go down there and do a vlog on one?
I probably will. I definitely want to throw my leg over one and take it out and kind of see, and you know, it's going to be the new big thing, and you got to kind of strike while that iron's hot. So it's not a bad idea.
So I'm curious. I'm kind of curious if you take one of the, since this is like going to be their first dual sport bike, right? So if you take one out, you're going to take it out in the dirt, you know. So
they probably are going to stop that. They're probably going to say, "Hey, you can ride it around on the street." I would think, because unless Harley does something where they say, "Hey, we're going to have an adventure bike day," and they take it out to, they have a couple, you know, sample bikes that people can jump on and ride around through the dirt, or maybe set up something, you know, locally. You know, take a lot of, you know, work, but you know, it is I could see them doing something out, like, for example, here in Southern California, we have the Superstition Mountains and Imperial County Desert and the sand dunes and Glamis. It'd be perfect for them to set up something, because Polaris actually bought something that was called the Glamis store. And they actually were building a track out there for Polaris racers, and they have big events every year. Wouldn't be a bad idea for Harley to maybe rent that out and give people that option of saying, hey, come see what the adventure bike feels like out in the dirt. Because you're right. How do you pull the trigger on something like that and then realize that it sucks out in the dirt? Because like you said, you came from dirt bikes, right? So you're going to know right away whether you like that or not. But I'd be very curious on suspension setup and things like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
And I mean, I never took a dirt bike anywhere in dirt where I didn't come. I mean, everything's usually plastic because you run them through dirt, rocks and whatever, me and my brother used to have my brother's 9 years older than me. We used to have this game that was really and again, I started when I was really young. We used to have this awesome game that he loved to play. And what it was is we would get in front of each other and we would spin dirt on the other person behind us and see who could fill up their shirt pocket with the most dirt. Well, he was on like a 200 and I was on a 50, and so like I'd get sandblasted, and it took me a couple of times. I was a slow learner, but my point though is just like, those bikes take abuse once you take them off the street, So I mean, all the bikes that you demo now, they're for sale. I can't imagine somebody getting one of those and saying, yep, it's brand new, let me just wipe all this down, and all these rock tings and that they come with it,
Well, you're absolutely. And the thing that kind of concerns me about an adventure bike is, let's say you're going to be doing a trip and you actually use the adventure bike for what it is, and you go out in the back roads and then you have a problem. like we're not talking about having a camp home base set up and let's throw it in the trailer and go home. Like that is something that you have to think about. So I'm not sure if, I mean, like I said, I would love it for a second bike. It'd be a good problem to have. But so far, looking at, the commercials and, take Jason Momoa out of it, and, he has no influence on what I'm going to do or the purchase of that bike. But I think that they're doing it the right way, and we'll see what happens. So let's see here. Boosted Bagger says biggest misconception people have when they buy an adventure bike is that they should handle it like a dirt bike, and they wad it up. That's probably very true. I get, just by weight in itself, because I used to ride dirt as well. Just in weight by itself, you can't whip that thing around and think that you're gonna, you're gonna do it.
Price?
What's that?
Did they give a price?
They did not on the release that I saw, but maybe somebody in the side chat can tell us what was there a price listed, or has anybody looked into that today? I know that somebody had to have gone out there and done some filming on it. If not, you kind of missed the buck there, because you get that video up and you're going to get quite a few hits on it, because that is going to be, anybody in the motorcycle realm is going to be interested in that topic as of right now today. So Sinister Clutch said 17,000. That's actually not bad. If that's,
and I think I heard that somewhere else before too.
So the special is 19,000. Interesting.
I keep seeing Gravel Glide come. Is that's hilarious to me? The Gravel Glide is that's definitely not something by Harley, right? I mean, that's just a joke people are saying. That didn't come from Harley, right? The Gravel Glide.
I don't think so.
Okay. It's hysterical. I love the name. They should definitely go with it. But
so here you go. An anonymous saying right here, Pan America Special 1250 is 559 pounds. You are not going to whip that thing around and think that you're going to be pulling some knack or some whip off a jump. I promise you that's going to end badly. Let's see who else. So obviously we're keeping up with everybody in the side chat. We're up to 25. It's been our max concurrent.
Yes.
So 25. Little do you know that right at the end, I've got a blast going out, and 3,000 people are going to come in here for just 1 second.
I was going to say, if anybody wants to do a side bet, y'all let me know. We can do like an over and under or something. So getting on to, more of the vlogging and the editing and what
what are you specifically looking at right now as far as your growth, not necessarily in your numbers, but in your own personal skills? Like usually, do you have something that you're like, you know what, at this particular time, I want to work on audio or I want to work on color correction? Is there something that you're working on?
So what I will usually find in the editing process, because YouTube and Google, you can find anything. It seems like the new tricks find me, right? So what I try to do is I try to implement one new thing, whether I remember how to do it or not, but just one new thing in the editing on every video, right? So that's one new skill every week. 2, if you're counting the shorts. So, like, and even so, there's just one thing that I really wanted to see how to do. I watched somebody's video and I was like, oh, that's awesome. It was an introduction, and then there was a freeze frame, and then the name of the person came splashing into the background. I was like, that is awesome. How did they do that? I looked it up, and I didn't use it in a video yet. But what I did do was I quickly just threw something together, and then I put it on Instagram just so I did that skill. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's kind of I don't know. I definitely, I'm all about learning new stuff. You know what I mean? So the thing though is, like, if I was going to be a full-time editor, I would definitely full steam ahead with this type of thinking, but I still have a couple day jobs, you know what I mean? So it's like, you got to balance all that. But I think it's important to, I'm using Premiere Pro to edit my videos. And the first video on my channel is the first time I ever used Premiere Pro. So like, I'm steadily trying to, shorten the workflow, better file management, and learning a new skill, which all that prior could be a new skill every week, but trying to learn a new skill in the actual editing every week. Touched a little bit in color grading. So like with the last New Mexico series that we did, I try to keep a theme throughout, like it's a little bit cold. The feel was a little bit more cold than normal, just because it was, cold in New Mexico. So I just try to keep that throughout. And, I don't know if that's, as far as the skills and stuff like that and the editing part of it goes, that's kind of where my mindset's at. Yeah,
for sure. And like Robin, the lady biker right here, SEO. I mean, that is very important. SEO and to me, I use TubeBuddy.
Yeah,
it's one of the best ways to maximize your SEO and make sure that you're hitting all those great, tags and things like that, and just to keep your analytics going, playing in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the whole thing, for new motovloggers and even motovloggers that have been around for a little bit. But I mean, truth be told, I mean, if you're pushing underneath 15,000, I mean, you really need to keep asking people for their time. I mean, that's what you're doing. And you and I have talked about this before. We even went back and forth on Instagram and a DM, just on my idea of somebody who's starting out. And even on my channel, I try to make my videos, somewhere around that 5 to 7 minute mark, because it's important for people to understand that when somebody doesn't know who you are, which, I'm less than, I don't know, 1/10 of 1% in the big scheme of things. So people don't know Full Throttle Hog. I'm asking them to literally give up the one thing they can't get back, which is their time. So shortening that down, I would rather have 10,000 people watch a 2-minute video than 2,000 people watch a 14-minute video, right? So just asking them and keeping that those things focused, I think is huge.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, and even from my perspective, you know what I mean? Like whenever I go into watching videos, I struggle with this so bad, like I some of my family, they watch me edit and they're like, you're cutting that out. I'm like, it's not relevant. It's not, it's not adding to the video, it's funny, but it's not, it's not, you're not getting any value out of it, and I'm big with you on this about, people's time. And if you respect their time, I think that, like you say, you'll get them to come back. If they're, like, hey, you know what? It was a 5-minute video, and for the whole 5 minutes or right thereabouts, I was interested, I was engaged, I was listening to what he was saying. I think that's a big deal. It's a big deal for me.
Sure. And that's, I get this question quite a bit on why I don't have an intro, or if I'm going to create a specific intro that I want. It's not that, I don't know how to make an intro. It's the fact that if I'm going to tell you right now, as a viewer of YouTube, if I'm watching a video, then I've seen the person several times. As soon as their intro comes on, I'm skipping right through that. Right. And I'm so in that particular aspect, I want to say, you know what? I'm at this particular moment. Even if I did do an intro, I'd probably limit it to about 3 seconds just to, do a logo or something. But having that type of an intro, after they've seen a couple of your videos, they're like, yeah, I already know what's happening. You're already investing in my time, or messing with my time. So those are the kind of things. And that's some of the big points I try to bring up for other people as well, is start thinking more about the viewer that's watching you versus the stuff that you think it's cool to create, right? And that's where those analytics, and you saying you using TubeBuddy, which is important. Watching, think about who your audience is, what they like, and those analytics will help you. Even just the regular YouTube analytics, they're going to help you dial in what are people engaged in. If you're going through your analytics properly, you should be able to see if there's any point in your video that your audience becomes disengaged. Yeah. And what you should take away from that is, I'm not doing that ever again. And it sucks as creators, because sometimes there's parts where I'm like, man, I busted my tail on this particular section and I thought people were going to love it. They ended up not. And now I'm like, okay, let's go ahead.
Yeah. Right? Kill the babies.
I'm like, man, it hurts. It hurts. But, so just a shout out to Throttle Down Under. He's joined us today. How are you? We are still under that 25 mark right now. Setzer Pendants is committed to $25. He's pretty excited about it. So Throttle, go tell everybody down under to jump on for just a split second.
They're all sleeping down there. Don't disturb their sleep. It's fine.
But yeah, I mean, those are the things. So let's talk this year, 2021, your plans, your agendas. What do you have? Do you have anything specifically planned for this year? So
yeah, we have a few things coming up. Salty is he's out in Houston and we're in San Antonio. So we've met up with those guys a couple times now, and we've got a ride. We've actually got rooms booked in I think they got some in Blanco, right, Salty? And then we have some close by, or Bernie. Y'all are in Bernie, and I think we're in Blanco. Anyway, we're going to do the Sisters in March 18th. Is going to be probably our next like big kind of ride or whatever. And he's bringing his crew, and we got about 5 bikes ourselves, so that's going to be a good time, man. I'm really looking forward to that. And then after that, we've got like I was saying earlier, both our boys, we have 20-year-olds, and they turn 21 relatively 3 months apart. So both of them have said that they want to ride out to Vegas for their birthdays. So probably at the end of May, beginning of June, we're going to ride out to Vegas and do that. My brother and I, we're going to do a ride around Texas. So there's an IBA actual ride around Texas. It's timed, and we're not going to do that, but we are going to take the route. But one of the big things that we have a problem with is actually stopping to smell the roses, so to speak. Like we get on there, we get on the bikes and we start crushing miles, and it's like, this is fun, this is a blast, and you're passing all this history, you're passing all this stuff, all these cool things, So I mean, just yesterday we went, and today's Monday, yesterday, our whole little group got together, and We were using an app. We rode north to go check out what was on the app. It wasn't exactly like it was described, so it is what it is. But we got there. There was this cool steel steer or whatever at the entrance to this where we were going, And then so we rode through there, and it was like for 5 minutes, I was in my head. I was like, I should have just told him to stop. I should have asked to get that picture. Why didn't I? I was beating myself up over it. And then on top of that, we were going through this path that wasn't, this road that wasn't as advertised. So I was just like, man, not only did I not get the cool picture, we're going down this crap road, So as luck would have it, we ended up circling back to where we started, and we were going to pass that steer again. So I patched into my brother. I said, "Hey, look," I said, "that road." I said, "We got to stop and get a picture." So
well, and that's crucially important in sports. And when you're vlogging and motovlogging, I mean, you almost have to surround yourself by like-minded folk that don't mind stopping. But I got the map pulled up now. Where are you at again? You are in.
So yeah, we are in basically San Antonio.
You're down here in San Antonio.
So yeah, if you zoom in on that,
okay.
And then if you go, so just up northwest is Bernie. Let's see, zoom in a little bit more.
Zoom in, okay.
And then pan over to the left. You want to go west, and then see where it says Bandera, and then just north of your cursor to the left now.
Oh, right here.
Yep, Bandera. Okay. Now move to the left. Go more west.
Okay.
And then let's see here, zoom out just a little bit. Yeah, right there where it says Leaky.
Yep.
That's the start of the Sisters. So pan over to the left some more west, and then down the page. Let's see here. I screwed it all up. Go back to where it was Leaky.
All right.
Go back to where it was Leaky. That sounds like a...
Yeah, that if people just joined, they're like, wow, what did I just...
What the hell is going on? And what's funny is, no, you got to go down. Right there.
There's Leaky.
So zoom in on Leaky and or Leaky. It's Leaky. So that road right there, there's like a four-way there. That road that runs left to right, that is what is it? 227, I think it is. It's the sisters are 226, 227, and 225. I think I'm screwing that all out. 220.
Real quick, I just have to address something real quick. I am not hating on your guys' intro by any means. All I was doing was expressing that that's the reason I don't have one. I get DMs and being like, "Hey, are you going to create an intro?"
Oh, you're absolutely right on that, though. I mean, I've even I've looked at mine and it's awesome. I really like my own intro, right? But I'm like, for day tripping. But I'm like, there's this other one that's been cycling. That's just my logo. That boom, boom, and then it goes to the next scene. I think I'm going to switch to that because it just takes so much less time. Mm-hmm. I think you're right on the money with it. Texas Twisted Sisters. So
I almost think I'm going to have a military biker issue in just a second, and I got to swap my battery. So why don't you? I'm going to keep this map up if you wouldn't mind while I swap this battery out.
Sure. 337. I was saying 227 is 337. 337 is the left to right, and then it goes up to 335, and then another vertical leg is 336 at Leaky. So those are the three Twisted Sisters, and that's where Salty and his crew and the Setzer Pendants crew, we're going to go hit that up in March. It's going to be a blast. I think we got 3 days planned, if I remember right. Let's see here. Where did my comments go? There they are. So, holy smokes. So, yeah. Like, any requests? Y'all want me to sing something? I got a hell of a voice. Robin, yes, the bent rim grill. Uh-oh. We both got issues. Yes, the bent rim grill is where it's at. Oh man, am I back? Can y'all see me? I feel like I'm back, but I'm not 100% certain. Yes. All right, man. I did it. I did it faster than the Full Throttle Hog. Yeah, Robin. It is off 337. That is that's a good place. We stop there every time. We usually try to stop there on the end of the ride because, you know, I can't be an effective rider on a full stomach, and I can't help but be on a full stomach when we stop at the Bent Ring Grill.
Yes. So so you're planning on doing this ride when?
March 18th is 18th through the 27th, or I mean the 21st. It's 3 days. They're going to be down here, and we're going to do that, and then we're going to go right up to Fredericksburg, Lukenbach. We got 3 days of ride planned, but the focal point is going to be the sisters.
So ironically, you brought up that your son's turning 21, along with you said it's your nephew as well. Yeah. So that's where I turned 21 many years ago, and my father actually took me to Las Vegas the night before my 21st birthday, and I turned 21 in Las Vegas. So that's such a cool thing. And by the way, I am 4.5 hours away from there, and I do not need an excuse or any type of big excuse to go to Vegas. Just letting you know.
Nice.
I love it. So that's such a cool experience. It's something they'll remember forever. Just having, the ability to be 21. There's something nostalgic about it. It'll be with them forever.
Oh yeah.
That's what, I would definitely want to do with my daughters, and one of them is going to be coming up before you know it, but it's a cool experience. So good at you for that. What about any rallies? You going to do any rallies?
We're probably going to play those by ear. So this world record poker run is coming up, and it's going to end in Sturgis. So it starts in Florida, and then and it ends in Sturgis, right? So I don't know. We might do Sturgis. We set out, me, my brother-in-law, and my brother. We set out to do Sturgis last year, and then things came up for both those guys. I ended up going solo. It was a good time. I had a blast. If I had to do it over again, I think that I would do probably a few days before Sturgis, and then maybe stay that first weekend. A lot of beautiful riding up there. I had a blast, we're gonna have to play the rallies by ear, so.
Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, it is tough. It is a commitment. And then you throw in the fact that you're going to want to film it. You're going to want to get it, your perspective and your take on it for your channel, which is also going to be time consuming. So let me ask you, when you're doing your vlogs, are you going to do you just kind of hit record? Do you script your stuff as far as your shots? Do you have a shot list? No, just gonna.
I'm making a story with the footage I got. That's and I don't want to do that. It's just kind of like what's happened. So I've got a horrible memory, right? So I'm like, man, I could talk 2 days about this. So
what'd you say?
I said I could talk 2 days about this.
What'd you say?
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I don't remember what you said. What'd you say?
I said I could talk for 2 days about this.
I'm just making fun of your memory there, bud. You're doing just fine.
See what's
Wow, you fell right into that, man. I didn't even throw a line in the water.
We got technical difficulties. What's going on? There's something wrong on your end, right?
Yeah. No. I'm just messing with you.
So, but what were we talking about? A shot list? No, I don't have a shot list. I don't have any of that. So, and I want to do better about it, because I think that's going to make ultimately a better experience, right? So, a viewer experience. So, my big thing is I want to show the cool places that we're at. I want to show how cool it is, how entertaining, how fun it is to be on a bike and experiencing those things. I do want to keep it kind of raw, I'm definitely not going to do, I'm not going to write out a script of things to say ever, because I don't want it to have that feel to it. You know what I mean? I want it to be, I'm silly. I don't want to take myself too seriously about anything ever, so I just want to kind of be, you know, hey, we're going to go to this location. We're going to talk about these things. This is why this is interesting to me. Let's hit the road. You know, something like that. And then I'll probably, you know, do a few takes to get that right, because I stumble over myself all the time. So, but I've tried too, right? So like, you know, and I've even asked you, you know, like I've got, you know, a real hard time with the content, right? You know, because as much as I love writing, as much as I love seeing the things that I see, I can't sit down and watch a video of it, of just writing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what would be entertaining for me? What would keep me watching? You know? So, you know, it's challenging. It's tough. The content part of things, you know, battling, you know, oh, nobody wants to hear you say this or do that or whatever. And then actually having stuff to talk about, you know, again, when we talk about respecting people's time, I don't want to just fill dead air, you know? So I'm going to say that I'm eventually going to have a better idea going into a recording or a vlog than I do now. But right now I don't have nothing. I'm just like, I'm going to record everything that I can, and I'm going to hodgepodge all this together, and hopefully it'll take.
You know, sometimes when you're in that editing room and you're in that editing mode, sometimes things just come naturally with the flow. You're like, wow, this is working out perfect. You know, the biggest thing for me is always to make sure I have more than enough footage to get the job done, because there's nothing worse than getting through your edit and you're about 3/4 of the way done and you just don't have enough footage to complete the story that you want to tell. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I hear you. I mean, I typically, as far as shot lists, sometimes I do those on the fly. I usually have a general idea of what I'm doing. I mean, for example, the saddle sore video, I mean, that was pretty easy. The story was pretty much created before the camera even was rolling. So to me, it was just establishing those shots along the way. And I'm going to actually, you know, you talked about something important, content. And finding that content, I'm working on a video right now that hopefully it'll be up this week, talking about how to find new content, because there is endless content, and I don't want to give you ideas of, yeah, go film your bike and the new exhaust system you got or that seat that you got, because you know, chances are if you have a channel, you've probably already done that. But pretty much focusing on 5 specific ideas on how you can find new content for you specifically. It doesn't matter what your channel is or who you are. These ideas will help each and every channel. You know what I mean? Because I think that there's a struggle that you have. And I remember having the struggle and saying, hey, what am I going to film? You know, I've got 6 hours tomorrow to film. What am I going to film? And just racking your brain, and you're like, oh, hey, I could do this. And then you wake up in the morning, you're like, that's a terrible idea. This sucks. Okay, let me think of something else. Then you start going through like your saddlebags or something, being like, hey, what? I don't know. This looks, can I do something like this? And you got like this, you're like, nope, that sucks. So, you know, it's a struggle because you want to be consistent. You want to be able to bring new content and keep people engaged with you. And, you know, that's having new content that's specific to you. You can go around and find other people that are doing videos, maybe not in the motorcycle community, but there is something that they'll talk about that you're like, you know what? That'd be a cool story to share about me. It's not going to be what they said because you have your own story to tell, but it's something important. Let's check in real quick because there is a question in the side chat I want to get to. Let me find it. It is, let's see, where is the question? I just saw it. It was something about a trip, and I have no idea where it just went. Somebody asking whether you'd rather do, oh, here it is. Malted in Montreal asks, if you could only see one, what would you rather see, Lake Powell or the Grand Canyon? I'll let you answer first.
I haven't seen either one of those. If I had to choose one, I don't know, I would probably go with Grand Canyon. And you know, I probably shouldn't, because I know I'm going to go see the Grand Canyon. I don't know. I don't even really know where Lake Powell is, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Is that the one where it has a big hole in the?
So here, I'll bring it up for you. I would definitely do the Grand Canyon, only because I will tell you that I've only been in the Grand Canyon on a car or in a car, and it would be awesome to experience it on the bike. I think it's beautiful out there. Same kind of thing as like Sedona. Sedona is just an amazing place to ride your bike. I mean, just the red rock of Sedona. Now, of course, I'm showing you Lake Powell here, and it's in all its glory, which is going to be hard for anybody to fight against. Let me bring this up because it looks gorgeous.
Wow.
And I have not been to Lake Powell.
Where is that? Where in the world is Lake Powell?
That's a great question, dude. To be honest with you.
Is that in the States? In the United States?
Yeah.
I mean, might be going to see both.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing that you can do is go see both. Well, I guess that's a good answer, unless you only have time for one or the other. Yeah. And because I want to make sure I give the proper location. So it's in Arizona.
Oh, hell.
So yeah, in Arizona, Lake Powell is located northern Arizona and stretches up into southern Utah. So either one, I think I'm with you. I think I would say that to do both if you can, but for me personally, I would love to do riding through the Grand Canyon. I think there would just be more options there. So hopefully that answers that a little bit. So this gets into right now. You are staying strong, by the way, at your 25. You're doing okay. But we're going to get to the point in the show where we are going to go around the horn. Hopefully you had a chance to think about some of your answers.
I did, actually.
Okay, that's good. Because I'm not going to ask you any of those questions.
Oh, you dirty dog.
I'm just kidding. It wouldn't be around the horn if I changed it. So here it is, around the horn. Every guest that comes on the show gets asked 4 questions that, they kind of take their unique turns because everybody's got a different story. So you are going to take a road trip on the bike to Sturgis, and you get to ride one bike that is not what you currently own. What are you riding on?
Man, I like my bike so much. I think I would just get a current version. I'm on a 2020 Road Glide with the 131, and it's not a CVO, so I think I would probably do that. A current 2021 CVO with the biggest motor I could put in it. You researched your questions, and that's what you came up with? Yeah, man, I'm saying I love that bike.
Okay. All right. So you were on your trip to Sturgis for an epic journey, and you get to bring one person with you who is either past or present. Who are you taking with you?
My dad.
You're taking your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And did you guys get a chance to ride when he was alive?
So we used to ride dirt bikes, but not as a grown up, not while I was a grown up. So we had maybe 2 rides or something like that, and I was on an enduro. It wasn't like it would be now. So no.
All right. Okay. So you and your dad are. Would you know what he would be riding? By the way, obviously,
he actually is. It's pretty funny because he was my brother got his first Harley, and my dad used to rag him about it. He's like, "What in the hell would you get a Harley of all these?" So he was not a Harley rider. He the last street bike that he had was a Virago. He had an 1100 Virago that was kind of hopped up, and so he would probably drive. He would want something that would be a little bit more, dare I say, reliable, but you know what I mean? That's his mindset from back in the day. He was like, you're always working on the damn things and they make so much noise. Screw all that. You know what? He would probably be on a Goldwing. Think about it.
Okay. So he's in real comfort.
Yeah.
Real quick before Robin's got to get going, but it is her birthday. So everybody wish Robin a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Robin.
Thank you for hanging out with us on your birthday. That's pretty cool. So you and your dad, you're on this trip, and you get into Sturgis, you're having a good time, you sit down at the bar and you guys are drinking. What is going to be the drink of choice?
We're not really big drinkers in our family. We'd probably just have beer. Bud
Just have
Light.
beer.
Yeah.
A Bud Light?
Something like that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Light beer.
All
Maybe
right.
a Dos Equis.
Maybe what?
Maybe a Dos Equis.
A Dos Equis? Okay. Just as long as you didn't say Zima. Well, I think we're okay.
I don't think that's a beer, is it?
I think it's a malt liquor. I'm not even sure. But okay, so you're sitting down, you're having a Bud Light with your dad, and you get to ask him one question. What question is that?
So I've thought about this since you asked me to be on your show, right? And sorry, DeBeard, that's he's going to roast me for that one. I know it. He didn't really have any secrets, or, I mean, we were really open. Like, I can't think of anything that I just am dying to know the answer to, unless, hey, where's the treasure buried? I would probably just, we would just be talking, there's not a dying, burning question that I'm dying to know, cause I mean, like I said, he was pretty open, is there any treasure buried? Maybe is what I would ask him.
Nice. Which is a good question to ask, by the way. That's a fantastic question.
It was strange times back then, man. People were putting money in coffee cans and burying them. You never know.
That's very true. That's very true. So how did you kind of come when obviously that was Around the Horn. We play that every week with every single guest, but kind of switching gears back into the motovlog thing in the community, were you researching other motovloggers to learn? Because I'm pretty sure as long as I kind of started looking into everybody in the community and what they were doing, you've kind of been in that community where did you just kind of stumble upon it one day? And who was your first live stream that you saw?
Live streams are all pretty new to me. I was on the Military Biker had me on his live stream the other day. Yesterday. And Denver Woods with the V-Twin podcast, the V-Twin Life podcast, he had me on his show a little while back. And actually, it was probably then that I was kind of like, I kind of dug in the sand a little bit and was like, hey, you know what, I'm going to get more involved in seeing what's going on. I would say that, I'm, like I said, again, I'm a nerd, so I want to know how everything ticks and works. So once I kind of limped into, once I made the YouTube channel name, which was last October, then I was like, let's see what it's all about. If I'm going to start doing this, I want to do it as best as that I can. Even if the content sucks, I want to have the nicest, prettiest video. So, I started researching and seeing who's doing what and what people like to see. And I gauge that by, views and subscribers and, there's some bias. There's definitely some things that, you got to take with a grain of salt. Some people blow up and some people don't. And I'm not looking to do any of that, but I am curious what makes things tick. You know what I mean? So, yes, to answer your question, I have researched a lot of things extensively, so much, in fact, that I forget where I started, and I got to do it again. But, nobody's gonna, I don't know. I have my own personal YouTube, my own personal Instagram account, and then I have the Setzerpendence Instagram account. And the idea when I made that was that at one time, if the kids want to take it over or whatever, it's not, tied to one person. It's kind of tied to me right now because I'm the one that's doing everything. But I'm trying to get my focus here. But as far as man, I just lost my train of thought. I saw my picture here wasn't in focus, and I'm like, what was I talking about?
No, we were just talking about doing research with other motovloggers, and you pretty much said like you can't. There was so much, and you don't even know where it kind of all started or who it is in. But you said the live streams is kind of a new thing.
Yeah, live streams are new for me. So Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The whole Setzer Pendants thing. I have my own personal account, and then the other, the whole Setzer Pendants ecosystem is something. So I've learned with my first business that you need to have an exit in mind when you start something, right? So if you're going to start, and this is just through the world through my eyes, right? So like I'm starting the Setzer Pendants thing, and I'm starting it with a way for me to be out of it. You know what I mean? It's our name. It means, there's a lot of entrepreneurs in our family. Independence runs throughout our family. So I'm kind of setting this thing up to hand it off. But at the same time, you do see what other people are looking at. You see, who the top vloggers are and why they are the top vloggers. And,
Sure.
Well,
I mean, and everybody, I mean, I do agree with the fact that you get a chance. And I think we talked about it last week too, with Wit, is that you get to have a chance to log your life, and that lives forever, and your family can go back and watch it, and they can see, the digital age, I don't see is going to go away. If anything, it's just going to get more advanced. Mm-hmm. But, things are just going to move even faster, but you get a chance to document your life. And I think that's very cool for other family members to see, and other people that, when we're all long and gone, that they can see who we were, kind of in that environment, which is also, very cool. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we're all trying to grow and sure, share our story and share our skills, because, I will tell you, looking at your channel and your videos, it amazes me that you're that new at editing, and that this is a new thing for you, because there's a lot of good flow in your videos. There's a lot of good, you can tell that you are studying and you are trying to make it aesthetically pleasing. So, I mean, those are the things, the takeaways that I took, that you're really striving to put the best product that you can. And a lot of people are, don't get me wrong, but sure, they say you're supposed to come out with 100 sucky videos before you even get a chance to, to hit one out of the park, but you're already kind of ahead of that game. And which is awesome. Now, the biggest thing is just to get 100 videos posted, right? Everybody should know that if you are a YouTuber, if you are a content creator, you need to post 100 videos. And I know it sounds like a lot, and I know that it sounds like it's almost impossible to do, but you need to come up with 100 videos, post them before you can really dig in and analyze where you're at. So, I mean, but kudos for you, because there is a lot of good quality. I mean, in the fact, your son and you sitting at the table, kind of jaw jacking and talking back and forth about it, I mean, that's a cool thing. And I think that, as your name catches on and as your channel catches on, I mean, you got to think of how many father and son duos aren't going to be watching that, because as you said, creating that mindset of, I want people to watch my videos and be like, you know what, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Which to me, I have that same mindset, so that I can hopefully motivate them to go and pull that trigger and do that, and, you got something, pretty unique and special going on. And I love seeing that you're focused on making those videos just better every single time. I mean, you even reached out to me in one of your videos. You're like, hey, can you take a look at this and let me know your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I appreciate you too. I mean, there's a lot of people that just don't take time, I mean, I've had a few people hit me up on Instagram, and they're like, hey, how did this, how that? I will give you all the information that I have. Hey man, I really appreciate you, you responding back, and you giving me those, those tips, and I mean, absolutely. I took every one of them and I applied them, the length of the last video was a little long, but I was like, there was we got a little long winded. we shot that whole sequence in one shot. It was 2 hours. And my other son was actually, he was like waiting to cook dinner, and he was like, oh, okay, y'all gonna record a video real quick. I'll just wait. I was like, all right, cool. So we were jaw jacking for 2 hours, and then I was like, dude, we got to stop. We just got to stop, So, I think moving forward, if we do that again, if we do that approach again, I definitely want to put some video down for us to look to see what the footage is, so we could talk about the footage in addition to talking about the trip. So we talked about the trip, and then I was like, hell, I don't have any footage of that part of the trip that we're talking about. So that's got to go, So, but yeah, I appreciate you. there's the community in general is generally pretty generous with information. And I dig that. Sometimes, you try to respect people's time and you don't want to ask stupid questions, so I try to do a lot of Google food before I, just start asking, hey, what's an aperture, or how does that work? Or, you know what I mean? But sometimes I'm just like, look, I did this, I did that. This guy said this, that guy said that. I put all this together. I don't understand why my shit's grainy.
Right. No, and that's important. I mean, that's moving forward. It's something that I've preached on these live streams from Go, is that, we're not competitors, we're colleagues in the same kind of realm, and we should be able to help each other out, because if everybody is putting awesome content out there, all you're doing is creating a bigger audience for our niche or niche. I don't even know. Every single time I say niche and niche, I go back and forth. I have to say them both because I don't know which one's.
Well, it's niche, but it sounds better to say niche.
Right. So niche, niche with the little like squiggly line at the end.
You said that. You said I watched you on a live stream. I think it was with Beggars and Brews. I think you said it there. I know it was you that said it, and I 100% agree. You're not competing with other motovloggers. I mean, you can use their statistics as a baseline for your own growth and all that. That's fine, but you're definitely right. You're not competing. You're making the whole environment better. If everybody's pushed out killer content, and if everybody, for anybody that has kids, you want your kids to do. Part of a parent's deal is you want your kids to do better than you did in life. That's one of the main goals as a parent. Right. And in doing so, like one of the things I'm most proud of with my kids is that, I've been able to say I screwed up a lot of stuff, and you don't have to screw all that up. You can just start here, and then you're starting 100 yards down the track, So,
yeah, don't make the same mistakes I did. I'm telling you what not to do. Yeah.
Motovlogging the same way. I mean, if we can all kind of just, if like I'm coming into this and, if I'm able to start, with all of your mistakes behind me, and I don't have to go through those. Some of those things you got to learn, you know what I mean? It's just, some of the best lessons are hardest learned. But if you can, cut through a lot of the stuff that is not relevant or whatever, like why is it grainy, why isn't it not grainy, or whatever, why is the audio crispy here or not there, or whatever. If you can start further up the road, then the 5 months that I have at this, you would hope that I would do better than the last guy, because I had that much of a head start,
Right.
So, and then that in turn is just going to, it should just leapfrog the whole community.
I agree 100%. And as you know, I've said it before. So, but we just want to say hello to Gears and Gadgets. Thank you for stopping by. I did like this comment. I love being introduced to creators in these long form live streams. So hello, and people, jumping in and talking about, our niche comments. These kind of went back and forth, and, but this is Badgers made a very good point. Plenty of viewers to go, for everyone, just like a business, plenty of business for everyone. And that's exactly how it should be. As long as I have this channel, as long as I'm able to help people. I mean, I don't know it all by any means. If I did, this would be pretty boring. I'm always going to be a student of the game, but if I can show tips and tricks on what at least helped me, maybe it creates a different avenue for the next person to say, you know what? I'll take this and just add my own flavor to it. Right. So as long as this channel's around, I'll continue to share what's in my brain, which is not a very large brain, but I'll share what I got. And I think that people should, because could you imagine, I think there was 25 people in this live stream. I'm a young channel, right? Mm-hmm. You get a couple years from now, we're doing these live streams, and then we decide to all get together for a meetup. A motovlogger meetup, right? How awesome is that going to be? Yeah. To be able to help each other out. Because what I would absolutely love is we should be able to all go out. Let's say we meet up in Texas, which I do want to do, by the way. We meet up in Texas and we say, hey, let's spend the day and let's go film some stuff. I want the footage that I'm filming of you to be something that you're like, hey, I love the, you know, I give you all my footage. You kind of go and create everything. And you know that I didn't film it in 720p and in a 1080 by 1080 format. And, you know, that the shot doesn't look all shaky, right? I want you to know that, like, hey, if we're going to go out and film, you know, that's part of the beauty of this is you get together and you do these collaboration videos, and you know that both persons' footage is going to be awesome. And Boosted Bagger and I have done that before. Boosted Bagger in the Sturgis videos, my Sturgis series, you know, he shot a lot on his drone, and I knew that it was going to be good footage, and boom, you kind of take that from each other, because everybody's got their own kind of deal and their own flavor.
So Boosted Bagger, when you did that ride with him, it didn't even like his name, Boosted Bagger, right? Oh, that, you know, that's his name, whatever, right? So, but then I saw the side of his bike, and I was like, oh, he's got a boosted bagger,
like legit, yeah, like legit. And there goes my camera right at a bad spot. So let me see if I can get this thing back and working.
Yeah, I was blown away. I think it was your what is it, the iron butt picture that y'all took at the end of the night, or maybe the beginning of the night, beginning of the day, or whatever.
That was definitely the end. That was the last photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing that is interesting is that I don't know what's going on the camera. It should kick back in a second. Yeah, Boosted Bagger legitimately has a turbocharged boosted bagger, and it's freaking phenomenal. The only thing that sucked on the saddle sore is that he only gets about 135 miles per tank, if you can think about that. And I'm going to fix my camera for just a second here.
Finally, somebody with a bagger that gets worse mileage than me. Dude, but my 131, dude, I get terrible mileage. I'm at, like, you know, if I eked out 40 miles to the gallon, it would be like, you know, the wind was helping me or something.
So, you know. Yeah, so he gets like 135. I mean, we could push it a little bit more if we needed to, but we never did. But it gave us a chance to stop and kind of stretch out a little bit. But yeah, he has his own YouTube channel, young channel, growing. I love going out and filming with him because he also is just trying to be a student of the game, right? So he loves learning that stuff.
Nice.
So, what else did I see over here? There was a couple good comments before my. Let's see here. So, another one from Gears and Gadgets. This is interesting from Salty and Sprinkles. Probably a true statement. Some people don't act like colleagues. Yeah, probably a very true statement.
I know who he's talking about. Well, I know a person he could be talking about. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I missed that live stream. But so somebody I'd also asked, and PSP Tommy, thank you for joining us. This was answered in the beginning of this live stream. It's kind of it's a cool story. It's a little bit long, so I'm not going to have him fully do it again, but definitely cool to see how that name came about. So then we have Bell's Rides Moto. I watch for entertainment. If we can help each other to create better entertainment, that's a win-win. Bell's Moto, that is you preach, because that is exactly what I'm talking about right there. So, and then of course, DeBeard coming in. You know, I was gonna watch one of the Baggers and Brews new videos, but the I guess the intro was too long. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I swear. I can't believe you thought I was picking on your intro. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, and everybody taking, you know, forward when you meet somebody else and that somebody wants to get into it. It's actually really cool to show people, you know, new tricks, and then kind of see those, see them take those and put them into play. And it's exciting. You have to think about when you're working on your videos and you're doing your edits, sometimes things come together so perfectly that you're just like, man, that is awesome. You go to bed, you know that, hey, I knocked it out of the park.
You know what really ties things in in the editing room for me is the music. Like if I'm, you know, like I basically I have like a basic outline of all my video, right? And then I don't start doing like serious cuts. Like I'll try to get as much of the fluff out as I can, you know. But I'm still, before I have music picked out, and I've only done it to where I've done a video with the music first, and I would like to do that more often. But it's like, it really comes together whenever the music is playing on that bottom, you know, like it's playing in the background, and it's like, then you get a feel for the actual video, what it's gonna be, you know. Then it's like, oh, you know what, I can go back and I can grab that drone shot. It would fit just perfect here because of this beat or whatever. The music for me is in the editing process or whatever is where it really seems to come together.
No, 100%. 100%. And music, as Boosted Bagger had said earlier, music can make or break your video. You really just need to get, you know, just good entertaining music in there. And you know, we'll kind of finish things up with you're talking about the community in itself, but the people that are watching, right? So you're going to find people that are not going to like you. You're going to find people that are out there. Maybe they're just trolls and they get on. There are certain people, and I think it was Baggers and Brews, it might have been DeBeard specifically that had mentioned this, where they had posted a video that was like 7 minutes long, and within the first 30 seconds, somebody had a thumbs down and made a nasty comment. You're like, hey, you didn't even watch the thing. You have to realize there are people that's what gets them off. They like to go find videos and get, you know, be the person that gives them a thumbs down and leave a nasty comment. You just can't let that affect you. And people say that it doesn't, but in a way, everybody's going to look at those comments and think, well, is this a troll, or is this something that I need to look at? Did I really, you know, screw this one up and it really sucks that bad? And the answer is no. You just got to keep pumping out content, because it comes down to I'm not a psychologist, but it comes down to that whole, you know, everybody likes to be liked and hate to be hated. And it doesn't matter who you are. It's a human nature kind of thing.
Salty's got a hater. Salty's got a guy that follows him around, and he's one of those 7 minute long, like you were saying a second ago, he didn't even watch the video and it's just thumbs down, thumbs down. I think he subscribed to Salty just so that he knows he needs to go over there and thumbs down his stuff.
Well, and then that's the whole thing. And actually, Belle's been here the entire evening, so I just want to say goodnight to Belle's. Thank you for stopping by. Enjoy the time with your hubby. But that's the whole thing. You have to realize, chances are there is the person that is doing this, you might even know them specifically, and they might be hating on you, and you might be passing them on a daily basis, but there's always going to be that element, and it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Peter freaking McKinnon, and you're going to have people that make a bad comment or, you know, give a thumbs down on the video. It's just going to happen. People, you know, you can let it sink in, and, you know, kind of is frustrating, but it's not going to ruin your video. And as a lot of people have mentioned before, you don't know that you're actually getting your content pushed out there until you have a few thumbs down, right?
That's that means I was like, I know I made it because I got a thumbs down. I'm a YouTuber now because I got somebody thumbs down on my stuff.
Well, and that's the whole thing. YouTube's job in the algorithm is to go find not your subscribers that are watching you. Believe it or not, your subscribers are less than 50% of the people that watch your videos that get pushed out there. If you look at the analytics, right? YouTube does everything it can to find new viewers that might be interested in your content. If I watched a video on hot air balloons last week because one crashed, and then I see some new motovlogger, new hot air balloon vlogger, I guess, if there is such a thing, post something out and the audio sounds quality or is not quality, it's garbage. YouTube pitches that to me, and I click on it. I'm like, well, what the freak is this, right? You got to think that's sometimes people's mentality. They might have clicked a video along the way or ran into a video along the way, fell asleep watching YouTube, and the suggested videos kept on. And so next thing you know, they see something. It's not really what they were interested in. They just clicked on one motorcycle video one time, and they're like, this sucks, right? Yeah. And they immediately say no. Me personally, unless there is something vulgar or something that maybe inappropriate, I think I can count on one hand on how many videos I've ever given a thumbs down to. I just leave.
Well, and I think for the most of us, right? The people, whenever somebody thumbs down your stuff, right? You have it makes you feel a certain way or whatever. Like, I'm curious. I'm like, I wonder why or whatever. But, I think that the reason that we all take some sort of, hit on the chin with that is because how infrequent we thumbs down other people's stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I have thumbs down one video in all of my YouTubing years, and it was kind of a retaliation thing. I mean, it was worth thumbs downing, but it was like the guy was just a prick. You know what I mean? So, and you know what? I'm sure it did no good. I mean, it's not like he was like, oh my God, this guy thumbs down me. You know what I mean? But it was a reaction type of thing, But I mean, I see stuff all the time where I'm like, this is garbage. You know what I mean? Like, you clickbaiting, sorry, SOB, next video. I don't even thumbs down it,
Yeah, no, yeah. I just move on. I'm like, hey, this is terrible. Or just, it doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's absolute garbage. Like, it takes a lot for me to be like, okay, this one definitely gets, something like I said, I think I can count on one hand how many times I've ever done that. But it's, like here you go. Here's DeBeard saying he doesn't know if he can ever think that he's ever given a thumbs down.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it's an
impactful moment for me. I remember mine.
Yeah, you should be able to remember them all, but you're going to have those people. One of the things that I can't remember which influencer I watched who basically said, if you're getting constant negative feedback from the same individual, or you're seeing that your videos, chances are you actually personally know that person. Like, it's not just some random person on YouTube that's like, hey, I'm going to pick on this person. There is a good chance they created a fake account and they personally know you and they don't like you for some reason. So you just got to, it just comes down to, it's the nature of the beast. Don't let it discourage you. Keep pumping out content and look at those analytics and find out who is enjoying your content, and you focus on those people. If there's people that are watching, if it's a demographic, if it's a certain section in your video that you're creating where you see a spike, that's what your audience wants. So really focus on your audience, and it'll be awesome to see where that goes from there. And those are the things that I focus on. I'm really excited to see where you're going to be going in upcoming months and years with this channel. Like I said, I think it's a unique experience. I like seeing how quality the videos look at such a young age. And that's something that I figured it'd be great to have you on, and it was great to have you on and talking with other motovloggers. Let's see what this one is. But we'll close out with this. Let's see. I think it's cool for people to have the courage to share their lives. You never know, one video may save someone else or teach them something new, or maybe the laugh they needed. That is a very, Papa Tias, that is a very true statement. That's awesome because Tejas, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's just a very true comment. Like, to motivate somebody else to go for like a motorcycle adventure, for example, to do a saddle sore, is pretty much what I wanted to get out of making that saddle sore video. Is somebody else to be like, you know what, that looked pretty cool, and let's go do it. And hopefully they film it.
After I did my first one, actually after I did my second one, it really changed the way I viewed where I can get in the country. Because I'm like, if I had to, I can do 1,000 miles a day pretty, I don't want to say easy, but I mean, like, we knocked one out in 17. We did, we did 500 miles in 7 hours. So it was like, oh, well, yeah, man, we can definitely, of course, after then we were like, oh, we're making such a good time. Then our breaks turned into long rest periods. And then it was just like, oh man, we screwed this up. But anyway, my point is just that, like I said, we're in Texas, and my brother says, let's go to Jacksonville, Florida. I mean, that's the freaking, that's all the way to the coast. It's like, okay, you know. Why
No,
not?
and that's
You know, it's like we're going to hit 4 states, 5 states, whatever it is. You know, it's like, wow. You know, you really start sizing up. Okay, well, if there's anywhere I really wanted to go check out on a motorcycle, it's not that, you know, like far fetched. You know, once
well.
you do
How
that
far
first
how far
one,
away are you from Sturgis? How many miles is that?
So mileage, I'm not sure. I know that it took me. Well, I caught a flat on the way, but I did an iron ass on the way back. I did exactly 1,000 miles in 24 hours. I even took a picture of it on my trip on my bike, and that, you know, I don't even know why I was so happy about it being exactly 1,000 miles, exactly 24 hours. But I was just like, that's cool, you know. I had stopped somewhere to take a nap, you know, at a motel. It was like middle of the night, and I was like, I had a real problem with deer on that trip, so I was like, I'm not chancing it, you know. I was like, I'm going to park it for the night and just get at it the first thing in the morning. So I want to say that it's probably a little better than, you know, 1,000 miles, or it's 1,600 miles.
It's
Yeah.
1,228 miles.
Oh, see, so I could have
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. So I would think that, you know, obviously that would be a feat in itself. And you said you've not been to Sturgis yet, correct? Or
No,
you did?
I went last year.
Okay. You did go last year. Yeah. I tell you what, man, some of those deer, because I got caught in that very bad rainstorm, hailstorm, everything storm. My biggest fear was being at night in that storm and having one of those deer come out and, you know, game over pretty much at that point. So,
They're huge.
oh, they're everywhere. When we were at Big Rig campgrounds, and just the first night we were there must have been 15 to 20 of them just kind of roaming about a residential area, and then you would see them along the highway, just one after another after another. I'm like, please don't, please don't, please don't. So,
Dude,
you know,
it's funny because when I came into Sturgis, the night that I got into Rapid City, actually, there was a section of road. It was through the state. I think it's Nebraska. That's right below the South Dakota. I'm terrible with that. I need a map to talk intelligently, but the state right before South Dakota, there was a section of road that was just really dark, and it was hills, and you know, it was just like really eerie. Whenever like I kind of crested into it, the sun was going down, and it was just like boom, it's black. I was like, wow, you know. And then like there's no cars. That's a big thing for me. Riding my bike at night when there's no cars, I'm like, I think might screwed up, you know.
right.
But like there was I actually had stopped for 2, I think maybe 3. I know for sure 2 people. I actually have to look at the video. I stopped, pulled my bike over, was like, hey, you know, hazard lights. Hey, are you okay? The first one that I stopped, a woman was pulling a trailer, an enclosed trailer. A deer hit her, or she hit a deer or whatever. And I was just like, oh, you know, oh yeah, I called somebody there on the way. I was like, okay, well, okay. The second one was a lot worse. The guy actually hit with the front end of his car. The horn was going off. I pulled over. I was like, hey, are y'all okay? And he was weirded out, but he was like, you know, he spoke real bad. He was broken English. And he's like, yeah, the deer's here somewhere. And I'm like, screw the deer, man. Are y'all okay? You know?
Right. Oh yeah, because people don't realize too, if they don't, I mean, especially younger, or they maybe not experienced, like you hit a deer, there's a good chance your vehicle is totaled.
Yeah.
Like totaled. Like that's no joke. And I had family that were that lived in Alaska, and I'd go up there, and you want to talk about something bad, and that'd be a moose. When these cars hit mooses, like they're done. If not it's like a fatality accident for the driver. Like you hitting one of those animals is no joke whatsoever. So yeah, man, it is one of those things you have to think about, especially when you're going to be doing you know, that the saddle sore and that home stretch, because as you get closer, things get, you know, you can see that light at the end of the tunnel, and they always say accidents happen within 1 mile of your house, right?
That's what almost happened. So like whenever I was coming in that final stretch, you know, I started seeing other bikers on the road, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'm in a safe zone, right? And then so I cranked back on the throttle a little bit, and I'm still riding solo, you know. So I rolled back a little bit. I was tired. I was like, I'm 5 minutes from the room. I'm going to get this done and over with. And then sure enough, I looked down. I looked down at my gauge or something like that, and when I looked back up, there was 2 of those huge freaking deer. I think I smelt his freaking butt as I hit a pothole. Like I hit the brakes, I hit a pothole, and I thought I hit the deer, like clipped him. It was that close, and it all went that fast. And I was like,
that's scary.
I got to get to the room.
That's scary. You know, it's so funny. Boosted Bagger and I, during these, you know, they always say on every long road trip, you're going to have one close call, right? And that didn't fail us, because we were, I think at that point, we were about 200 and something miles from San Francisco, and every biker's worst nightmare, a ladder in the roadway that gets hit by the vehicle right in front of us and kind of spins that ladder as we're going. It's a full-size ladder. Yeah. And you have Boosted Bagger going on one side, I'm going on the other side. I mean, and if you're not paying attention, or if it was nighttime, that would have been bad. So it is, you know, always scary. But yeah, man, I am so excited to see your channel grow. I thank you for coming on tonight in this Motovlogger Monday and just kind of speaking with everybody about who you are and better get to know you. You know, I'll definitely be following along. Hopefully people are subscribing to your channel. If you guys are watching the replay, make sure you guys go check them out. Setzer Pendants. I'll have the link in the bio or the description as well. What's the damage? The damage is still going to stick at 25. Concurrent viewers was 25. Nice. So, I know. I think we should have gone off of total view count, because I think there was people popping in and out. But you know, that's what it is. Denver Woods a little bit late, so he's tuning in. Yeah, we're just finishing up. Denver, thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you catch the replay. Do you know who he is? Do y'all know each other? You and
No. We want to get together. He's he hosts the V Twin. I always screw this up. Sorry, bro. The V Twin Life podcast. He's got some pretty good shows, man. He's y'all should hook up. The V Twin Live podcast. I'm gonna write this down right now. Hang on just a second. The V Twin. Say it again, Denver. Put it in there. Put the. I always screw that up. The V Twin Life podcast. The V Twin podcast. Yes. Yeah. No, I will. Yeah, the V Twin Life podcast. There you go. That's the one. All right. Life podcast. All right. Yeah, I will definitely check that out. I'm always looking for podcasts to listen to. So, but Denver, thank you for coming in late. Sorry you missed a big portion of the show. Maybe you can catch the replay. It was great to have Setzer Pendants on. Every single Monday we do Motovlogger Monday, where we meet with other motovloggers. We talk about different ideas. We talk about news. We talk about struggles, and pretty much just hang out. So thank you all for being here. Setzer Pendants, thank you so much to you for carving out some of your time. And you know, when is going to be your next big release? When's your next video coming out? I'm trying to stick to the salty schedule. So okay. I'm trying to do a video on Thursdays and a short on Mondays. Awesome. And, so a couple days, and we will have your next video. So thank you again. Can't wait to see that stuff and see your channel grow. Everybody take care, ride safe, be safe. We will catch you guys next week. By the way, already I can tell you next week's guest is going to be Cycle Fanatics. I'm very stoked to have him on the show and go over that. So make sure you tune in next week. It's going to be at a different time. It's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, because he's over on the far East Coast. So we didn't want to mess up any Mimi time. So tune in next week, and we'll catch you guys later. Later.